Hello, everybody. Everyone should now have a seat. We are ready to get started and rock the night away. Welcome to the 2019 State of the City Address. This evening, you'll hear from 4 presenters. You'll hear from the city, the county, the Chamber of Commerce, and the school district. It's wonderful to see so many faces. We are on Facebook Live, so shout out to our watchers that are on Facebook Live or watching us on YouTube. When you walked in the room, you received a program of tonight's event. Along with that, you received a question card. For those that are watching on Facebook Live, we do have someone who's monitoring the Facebook page, so if you have questions, we will do our best to get your Facebook questions on a piece of paper, get that turned in, and for those in the audience, if you have your question card filled out, just raise it in the air between the speaker changes, and someone with a basket will come and collect that from you. If you need a pen, raise your hand. They have extra pens and all that jazz. All right? So this evening, as you walked in, there was a text number on the screen. So following this event, or even if you want to do it now, you can text AC News to 22828, and that will get you subscribed to all of the speakers tonight's email blasts. And if you don't want to be on one, but you want to be on the other 3, just simply unsubscribe to that one. But make sure it's not the Chambers. We do have some special people in the audience that I'd like to welcome this evening. We have American Canyon Mayor Leon Garcia. And note, I have a super long list, and all of these people are fantastic and amazing people and deserve a round of applause, but if we could hold it to the end, that would be fantastic. American Canyon Vice Mayor Miriam Abu-Damas, American Canyon Council members David Oro and Kenneth Leary. Shout out to Mark Joseph, who's watching on Facebook Live. Napa County Supervisor Brad Wegknecht, I believe, is here, and he's from District 1, and Supervisor Alfredo Pedroza of District 4. We also have Belia Ramos from District 5, the Napa County CEO Min Tran, Sheriff John Robertson, Representatives Tom Barty and Alex Pater from California Senator Bill Dodd's office. We have Representative Tracy Crumpin from California Assembly Member Cecilia Aguiar-Curry's office. We have Napa Valley College President Dr. Ronald Kraft. We have Napa Valley College Trustee Ms. Beth Goff, Napa County Board of Education Trustee Cindy Biederman, NVUSD Board Trustee Mr. Joe Shunk, NVUSD Area 2 Board Member David T. Gracia. We have Open Space District Board of Directors Barry Christian, Napa Valley Transportation Authority's Executive Director Kate Miller, and our Planning Commission, Park and Community Service Commission, and Open Space Advisory Committees, as well as Police Chief Ortiz and Fire Chief Weeks. Now you can clap. And I can catch my breath. All right, so without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Leon Garcia to the stage to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and give us a few welcoming remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome. This is a new venue for us. I'm really impressed with the turnout. Trying to make it more of a community event, and glad you're here this evening. You know, the American Canyon rocks. There's no other way to put it other than that. It's just a great city to live in, to work, to raise a family, to play. This school is just one of the wonderful assets we have in town, and it only comes together because of folks like you. It's community that does that. Our relationships with each other, how we help each other out. We look at all the different organizations in the city, from the school that we're in that has any number of activities and parent organizations with families, We also have our communities out in the larger community, social service clubs, business community, faith community, volunteer programs. It all comes together, and that's what makes this place such a very special place indeed. You know, I'm very privileged and honored to be the mayor of the city, and for many years I've just been able to watch it grow, and we have invited new people to come in. We are an unusual place in California. We're one of 10 cities in California that are the most diverse cities in the whole state. I was reported once that a school survey showed there were 38 different languages spoken at home in American Canyon. And mind you, we're just barely 21,000 people. So there's a lot of value in that in terms of the culture of our community, what we share with each other, our common values, our direction we want to move forward. And let's keep moving American Canyon forward, and it's really a fantastic place to live. Thank you so much. Enjoy the evening. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Jason Hawley, City Manager.
Maybe I'll use the microphone. Maybe you can hear me better. We have a fabulous panel with representatives from the school district and the chamber in Napa County, and we're all here tonight to share about projects and programs and key initiatives in 2019. I first wanted to take an opportunity to thank the staff who are in the audience tonight, particularly those who helped pull this event together. Your effort doesn't go unnoticed. I also want to take the opportunity to thank the school district for hosting us here in this amazing auditorium, and for also providing the child care services and translation services. This event is free tonight for you because the school district made that happen. You know, here at the City of American Canyon, we're always striving to engage our community in better ways. We deliberately held this event tonight so that more of our residents could attend. We're holding it here with the school district in the auditorium because we know for our residents, schools are among the most important things in their lives. So I have a quick question for you. For those of you who are in the audience tonight and this is your first State of the City, would you mind raising your hand? Is anyone's first time in here? Wow, that's amazing. That's a really great turnout. Thank you. I just really wanted to underscore the importance of being able to get together as a group, and the city's really trying all kinds of different ways to make that happen. The list on the screen above you are all of or most of the organizations here in town, and the city works with all of these organizations in one way or another to help provide programs and services and other amenities in the community. The city can't do it all, and we work with our partners to do that. We've tried our best to capture all the groups, but if we've missed anyone, we apologize. We don't mean any offense by that, and if you will send us your contact information, we can make sure to get it up onto our website, which you can see on the URL there below. By going there, any of you can check out any of these groups and get some contact information and learn more about it. As you can see from the names, it's a wide variety of services, and there's something for everyone. There are other ways that you can get involved. First, of course, are our public meetings. Our city council meets on the first and third Tuesday of every month. We also have planning commission meetings, open space advisory committee meetings, and Parks and Community Service Commission meetings each month. And we also have special community workshops, like the one we had a few weeks ago talking about the West Side Connector, which is a future road that will be on the west side of town. We're also looking at ways to connect with the community in those events and bring them to you where you are. We mentioned this event being streamed on Facebook Live and YouTube. We did that same sort of effort with that special meeting, and we're looking at doing some of our council meetings that way. We're looking at the technology that would be needed because we want to bring our service and our government and our policy making to you if you can't come to us. We also have a fabulous Neighborhood Watch program that keeps growing and growing each year, led by Chief Ortiz and our communications manager, Jen Kanzenbach, and others. It's really a great opportunity to meet your neighbors, to help make American Canyon a safer place to be, and it's really a fun opportunity to become involved. And the website URL there can help you do that. We have also a Citizens Academy. We do usually do a Citizens Academy each year. For those of you who don't know what a Citizens Academy is, it's basically a 9-week course where residents commit to spending one night a week, and staff commits to joining them for that night. And we learn and share and teach about American Canyon specifically and local government in general. It's really an opportunity for residents to learn how our government functions and become more informed and more engaged. Many of our alumni from our Citizens Academies have gone on to become members of our Planning Commission or other commissions or even on the City Council. And lastly, one of the big ways that you can communicate with us is through our See-Click-Fix function. Say that fast 10 times, it's difficult. It's an app, it's a cell phone-based app that you can use and download, and by taking pictures of issues like potholes and streetlights, you can communicate to us maintenance issues that might need attention. We can't be out there in the field all the time knowing where these issues are, so the GPS function on your phone allows you to communicate with us about issues. You can also find this app on our website. There are other ways to stay informed as well, particularly our city website, which is really the center of the universe for the city's communication functions. We're going to be we're in the process of updating our website right now, and one of the cool new functions that we're going to have on that is what's known as an e-notification. So you'll be able to go onto our website, identify topics of interest to you, and sign into those topics. And then when we update those pages or provide new information, we'll send communications to you. So you don't have to keep checking back every couple of weeks. We'll be actively notifying you when there are changes. So you can look for some of those changes to our website coming this summer. We also have a city manager's update. Usually the Friday before a city council meeting, we put out a manager's update, and that's a great way to stay informed about the different events that are happening, what's on the agenda in the upcoming meetings, and different recreation opportunities. And the city manager's update signups can be found both through our website or, as Mandy mentioned earlier, by texting ACNEWS to 22828. And like Mandy mentioned before, it's not just city manager update, but you'll have an opportunity to sign up for updates from the school district, Napa County, and the chamber. We're also on a variety of social media platforms, as I'm sure many of you are too. Facebook, Instagram, our emergency services folks use Twitter, and we also participate on Nextdoor. And those are opportunities that we use to send out information as well. The last way that we communicate with you is Nixle, and if you don't know about Nixle by now, you should be signed up to Nixle. We use Nixle as a way of providing the early, immediate communications that are urgent or safety matters or things that require your attention. And if you haven't already signed up, you should by texting our zip code, that's 94503, to the 888-777. You can get signed up for Nixle and get those notifications. The way that we communicate during urgent or emergency situations is most usually initially with a Nixle update. It doesn't necessarily have a lot of information, but it's that first piece of information that something has happened, something that requires your attention. And then we usually direct you to our social media platforms or our city website, where we try really hard to get more detailed information out there. So it becomes that process where you'll receive a Nixle alert, and then you should then be starting to look at our websites or our social media platforms. It's really important when you receive Nixle updates or when certain emergencies or urgent situations are happening that you're relying on official means of communication and official websites. Oftentimes, that we experienced even 2 years ago with the fires, that official information coming from the city is the most accurate. We only put out verified information, and we use our social media platforms to do that. So what are the big happenings for American Canyon in 2019? Besides the projects and other developments that are going on, probably the biggest that you'll see and the biggest opportunity for engagement is our general plan, meaning that we're going to be updating that general plan. For those of you who don't know what a general plan is, it's essentially our Constitution, and it really defines where we are today and what the future of American Canyon holds. The city has a general plan that was first done in 1992. We've updated parts of it since then, but this is meant to be an overhaul of that entire plan. The general plan is comprised of many chapters, each focusing on a single topic. In the general plan world, we call them elements. But these chapters cover specific topics. From our perspective, there are 4 main topics: the land use element, the circulation element, the housing element, and the park and recreation elements. Although you can see at the bottom of the screen, there are other elements that will be part of this update process. We'll be kicking off the general plan update later in the fall of 2019, and that will certainly involve a number of workshops and community events where you can come and learn about the general plan process, provide your input and opinions about where you think the city's future should go. And this process alone would be reason to sign up for the city manager's update, to sign up for our e-notification platforms, so that when new information is available and when there are important meetings that you can attend, you know when they are and you can plan to attend them and be informed. So it's exciting that we're going to be updating this plan, and certainly keep your eyes and ears tuned up for it. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our next speaker, Dr. Rosanna Musetti from the Napa Valley Unified School District.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Rosanna Musetti, like City Manager Holly mentioned, and I'm the new Superintendent of Schools. I'm in my first year in NVUSD, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here with American Canyon community members and families, because American Canyon is a big piece of our school district. How many of you have children, current students, or graduates from any of our schools here in American Canyon? Okay, so a significant majority, which I think says a lot to what City Manager Holly, what Jason talked about, which is our schools here are such epicenters in our community and are, institutions where we accomplish so much on behalf of the community because it's our young people. And we know the investment in our youth is what really makes a community thrive, and a city like American Canyon not only, be thrilled about its present, but get really, really excited about its future and what's on the horizon. So I get to talk to you about Napa Valley Unified School District, my new passion, my new obsession, my new mission about making NVUSD one of the best school districts in the region and potentially in the state of California. And I'm very confident that we have the will, skill, and commitment in NVUSD to accomplish that audacious goal because of the commitment that I see in our various school communities across the district. Particularly here, of course, I want to honor and note the investment that we see from the families in American Canyon around the education of their students. And so I want to give you a round of applause. Give yourselves a round of applause for your commitment to your children, because that's a critical piece of a successful school district, is to have that parent and community engagement that's so evident here. So two kind of things to think about as I share with you sort of NVUSD, particularly NVUSD in American Canyon. We have a significant partnership with the city around, of course, this educational partnership and being the institution that educates all of your students as the school district in the area. And then, of course, our facilities. And we're standing, I think, in one of the premier facilities, right? You could argue in the school district and here in your community of American Canyon, this extraordinary theater that provides an opportunity to do exactly what we're doing tonight, and then provides all of the space for the moments that where students shine up on this stage and are able to show all the incredible learning that is happening in the classroom, and then they get to put on public display here. And we know that facilities, our school facilities, can be really critical key points in the community for our young people to thrive, but also for us to extend partnership between community members at large, beyond just the school community. And so it's something we're always looking to leverage, that partnership around the facilities that we can offer as a school district, and strengthen the partnership and bring clarity to those partnerships so that we can make sure that our schools are facilities that are maintained, leveraged, and continue to be spaces where our students can thrive, right, in the long term. So in NVUSD, you have a new superintendent, so it's an opportunity, of course, in the school district at large, and then I'll talk a little bit about the specifics here in American Canyon particularly. But as a system, as a school district, as an organization, if we want to become the best school district potentially in the area and maybe even in the state, we need to leverage what we're doing really well. The things that you, as our clients, our parents, right, because you have children in our school, what do you think, you can think maybe of the 5 to 10 things that our schools have done really well for your students, right? Can that start to come up for you? And how do we take those assets and those things that we're doing really well in terms of our schools serving your kids, and then where do we kind of look at what the areas of growth are, what the current challenges are, and how can we transcend those challenges, and how can we improve as a school district? And so our key strategy to accomplishing that, Jason just laid out the city's general plan. Us as public agencies, we're pretty good at creating plans. The key ingredient for both the city and for me as your superintendent and our board and our school district at large is actually executing on what's in that plan and making sure that we implement it. We're excited about the strategic plan goals that I'm about to unveil to you because we feel as a school district, one of the ways that we can become better is making sure that we have sort of cohesion. Despite the diversity that we have in NVUSD, there's things that connect all of us despite maybe some of our uniqueness and our difference. And we want to make sure that while we honor those unique identities, that we have alignment and cohesion across our school system, because the bottom line is no matter what part of the school district you're from, we want to provide a gold standard education, a top-notch education to every NVUSD student. And so we need to bring cohesion to the school district. We want to serve with clarity. We want our community to feel that they're very clear about the mission of the district. They're very clear about how they define that gold standard educational program that they provide their students, so that our parents are clear, our staff are clear, because when our community, our staff, our parents, and even our students are clear on where we're heading, we're likely to perform better as an organization and serve better. And then we want to get results. NVUSD has been getting lots of stellar results, in different areas for different groups of students at particular, different schools for different reasons over time. And we want to, of course, leverage where we're shining as a school district, but how can we get better results across the entire system? And then here, particularly in American Canyon, how can we accomplish and get better results, better educational outcomes for all of our students, so then when they leave us in the K-12 setting, that they're actually pursuing opportunities that align with their interests, with their talents, with their strengths, and that we've set them up for success beyond their time here at American Canyon High School. So what are the strategic goals in order to get all that done? We have six strategic goals that we're focusing on. And one thing I want to highlight before I just share the 6 goals is that our plan is guiding us from today, 2019. We launched this plan, our board adopted it in December, and it is going to take us to the spring of 2022. So the goal would be that in the spring of 2022, when you're getting ready maybe for those graduations in June of 2022, or your 5th grader is finishing up and migrating up to the middle school, that as an organization, our parents, our staff, our community at large will be able to look back and say, based on what our commitments were in this strategic plan across these 6 goals, we're better as a school district. I have evidence in the schools where my students attend that the conditions are better, some of the resources are better for our students, the outcomes are starting to improve, despite some of the challenges, the budgetary challenges we're facing. And with some of the budgetary challenges we're facing, it becomes even more important for us to define what is our strategic focus. It provides us an opportunity to decide what's really important to us. And so this plan will guide us for the next 3.5 years. And our hope is that we'll be able to come out and celebrate with American Canyon and our NVUSD community at large around everything we were able to accomplish. So our first goal in the plan is student learning, achievement, and access. We're in the business of education. Our students are our primary focus. And so if you go read our plan on our website, you'll find that everything in Goal 1 is about creating that gold standard educational program. That our students have access to a high quality core program, that they have access also to all of the extended enrichment opportunities that we know educate the whole child, that they are prepared for college and career, and that they also, that we're as a school system not only paying attention to the academic side, but that we're doing a better job of paying attention to the socio-emotional side. Because we know it's those two things paired that will provide that high quality experience for them and get better outcomes for them when they graduate. The second goal is about effective employee relations and resource management. And all too often as a school district, of course, we need to hyper-focus on our students, but we need to remember that in order to be able to provide that gold standard program to your kids, that we have to have high-quality employees in front of your kids. So we have to attract, we have to retain, we have to provide professional development to the teachers, to all of the support staff, to all of our leaders, our principals who serve your students. And so we want to make sure that as we're looking at all of those needs that our students have, that we're also equally paying attention to our employee needs, because it is the high quality staff that will make sure that we can execute on our first goal around student achievement. And so we have lots of exciting ideas about how to bring better professional development, professional growth opportunities to our teachers, to our classified support staff, and to our school leaders. The third one is about events like tonight. Robust communication, community relations, and advocacy. That we have a strong connectivity with the communities in which we serve. And I can think back, I started here in July, and at this point in time, just, it's been 7-8 months. I'm heading towards 8 months. It seems like 10 years some days, and it seems like 10 days some days, right? 10 years versus 10 days, because there's so much going on in the school district. So it can feel like a whirlwind, and then it can also just feel like, wow, we're getting a lot done in Napa Valley Unified quickly. And so, we're trying to come out here more often with frequency. A couple weeks ago, we were here. We held our board meeting here, which I know has been happening annually for a couple years. And we're trying to come out and do community engagement, particularly around issues that impact our American Canyon schools. And we remain dedicated and focused on that as we know American Canyon continues to grow. In addition, I think Jason Hawley mentioned that we have translation services here tonight. We are, as Mayor Garcia mentioned, a very culturally and linguistically diverse community, which means that we need to make sure in our improvements around communication that we're thinking about who our audience is and how we make sure that our audience feels like our content is accessible to them. And so we want to be better at that by that spring of 2022. The fourth goal is tactical, proactive, and efficient asset management. Our facilities are a critical asset in our school district. We need to maintain them. We need to continue to improve them. And so our bond program plays a critical role in that. And so we want to make sure that in this plan where we're trying to improve our district at large, that we're hyper-focused on the work of the bond and on our deferred maintenance and the maintenance of all of our facilities. And so there's a lot of tactics there around that. But also in that is making sure that we are remaining fiscally fit despite some of the challenges that we are experiencing here. For the reasons of declining enrollment and the cost of living being very high across the school district at large, despite pockets where there might be increases like here in American Canyon, the bottom line is that the region at large is becoming difficult to afford, and with that comes declining enrollment, and with that comes some revenue challenges. And so we want to make sure that we have a goal that's focused on making sure we're managing our resources to the best of our ability. And so we're going to stay hyper-focused on that over the course of the next couple years. And then our fifth goal is around equity-centered leadership and inclusive organizational culture. It goes back to the celebration that Mayor Garcia brought up in his opening remarks about our cultural and linguistic diversity. 38 languages just in this area means that us as leaders and as an organization need to make sure that whoever you are, whatever your language is, you walk through the threshold of the doors of our schools and you feel welcomed. You feel like it's a place for your child, for your family, and that our schools are connected to the diversity of our community, and that we don't create walls there. And so really focusing on that as an organization and weaving that into our culture. And then lastly, I always like to highlight this because I don't think a lot of school districts intentionally put a goal around strategic, impactful governance and policy implementation. And that's why I feel very honored to work with our Board of Trustees in NVUSD as a superintendent, as part of the governance team with them, because I always like to note, one of our board members said that if we're going to ask for improvements across those other 5 areas, that means that we as a governance team have to reflect and determine, is there anything we can do better as a governance team? And so as a governance team, our school board members and myself have laid out some of our strategic improvements over the course of the next 3 years so that we can just make sure that we're doing best practices when it comes to governance and policy making and decision making on behalf of your students. So in terms of timeline, I'm sharing with you, that's really what I've been doing the last couple of months, where we're just taking the plan sort of out on the road and sharing with people our vision for this future. We're going to implement and monitor the strategic plan. We're already starting some of that implementation, and hopefully by the fall, you'll be able to notice some things changing at your school. You might notice that your teacher's getting professional development that they did not get in the past. You might notice new standardized technology that will be arriving at schools that you have not seen in the past. And so we're hoping that throughout the fall and next year, you'll notice some of these improvements actually, coming to life in the schools where your students are. We're going to evaluate and adjust as we go along. As we're implementing, we make the minor adjustments to make sure that we're successful. And our goal, the reason we only have 3.5 years is because we didn't want to create a plan that was 5 to 10 years, because that's usually doesn't feel like it's doable. And we feel as an organization, we have to have urgency, because kids only go to school, they only go to 2nd grade once. They only have 5th grade once. And so we wanted to make our plan actionable and doable, because every year of your child's education is an important year in the 13-year journey. And so when 2022 arrives here, we want to celebrate the successes, make sure we accomplish what we promised in those 3 years, and get ready for the next 3-year cycle of improvement. And so we look really forward to continuing to partner with families and parents here in American Canyon to make sure that our school district, moves from being an effective school district to a really great school district, doing really great things on behalf of your students. So thank you for your time tonight. And I have the honor and pleasure of introducing Mandy Lee, who's with the American Canyon Chamber of Commerce.
Oh boy, so many things. Thank you so much. Good evening. I am Mandy Lee. I am the president and CEO of the American Canyon Chamber of Commerce, and I come with props, so bear with me for a moment. All right, so the Chamber of Commerce, we're going to do 2 things tonight. First, we're going to look at an overview of our business community, and then we're going to look at what role the Chamber has in that. Then we're going to look at what role the Chamber plays in tourism and what that means altogether for residents. So on the screen now, you'll see a rough blueprint of the businesses in the community. We have 519 registered business licenses in American Canyon. Out of that, we have a little over 200 that are service-related. That's where you see your dentist, your orthodontist, your lawn care maintenance folks. With retail, we have less than 100. You can read up there for yourself some examples of retail. We have some 200 home-based businesses. And then we have kind of what I call our niche, where the chamber I call it my sweet spot. We have our manufacturers that are food related and wine industry related. Fun fact, we have 5 food and beverage related businesses in town that include Coca-Cola and Mazzetta. And then we have over 80 wine support and logistics in American Canyon, which makes us very unique to the county because we don't have the wineries and the tourist-related things that you see up in Napa, but we do have all of the back-end wine support that is very needed for our county to thrive. So as the chamber, we say that we are a catalyst, a convener, and a champion for our business community. So we have a lot of residents in town. If you are not a resident and just a business that's here, can you raise your hand? You guys aren't even raising your hands. I see you. I see you. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. So our businesses don't have a voting voice. They're not voters necessarily. Some are. We do have businesses that live here, but most of them do not have a voting voice. So that's where the chamber comes in, and we become we say we're the voice of business. We become their voice. They're their own voices too, but collectively, we make sure that we're representing the interest of the businesses in town. So we have 3 goals. The first one is to increase visibility of our businesses to our residents and to other businesses. So you can see some examples of what we do up there for that. Not on there that I really want to give a shout out to is something that we started last year called the Great American Canyon Quest. This year, it's on October 12th. If you go to AmericanCanyonQuest.com, you can actually register for it already. But it is a fun event that is like the Amazing Race, but American Canyon style, where you can go and visit different points of interest and businesses in town, learn what they do a fun little mission there, and then you'll compete against other teams, and then we'll rally back and show the winners. So that's just a way that we increase our business visibility to our residents because we know that there's a little bit of a disconnect, which is okay and normal, but we just want to be superstars. Goal 2 is to create business-to-business opportunities. We want our businesses to know their business neighbors. We want them to connect with one another. A good example that is not up here is our Green Island District. We call it the Grid Group. We have a meeting on Tuesday. We meet as needed, and we'll share updates from the city. Or this meeting coming up, we're talking about workforce, and we're looking at some workforce and salary trends that are happening in American Canyon and South Napa County. And our third goal is to connect our business community with our local government. So I was just at City Council last night. Last night, there was a community facilities district that was approved for our Green Island area, which means we get a new road. It's fantastic news. You'll see when I just had people raise their hands of how many businesses who were here and only one person participated and those others didn't. Most of the businesses don't show up for things because they're focused working on their business. So while they're working in their business, I'm out attending meetings and reporting back to them so they can stay involved. So there will be an email going out saying that the CFD was approved, hooray! And then we're gonna celebrate that on Tuesday too. So tourism at a glance. We have, and this is the other side of what the chamber does, we have 3 hotels that are in American Canyon, the Holiday Inn, the Doubletree, and the Fairfield. And altogether, that's 313 rooms that are at over 80% occupancy on average. That accounts busy season and non-busy season. When it's harvest time, they're at max capacity. When it's Bottle Rock weekend, you can't get in there. Good luck. We have 14 unique restaurants in town, and I wanted to include this slide because I always hear it, that there aren't enough restaurants in town, and every time I hear it, I cringe, because we do have 14 unique restaurants that do not include chain restaurants or anything else. They are unique, they are owned, and they're just the only one that's here. It's very unique. And we have 2 opening this year. We have Cinco's Fresh Mex and Lasso. So stay tuned for those because we'll have fancy ribbon cuttings. We do that as well. And then our outdoor recreation that makes us very unique in American Canyon, along with our wine logistics operations. Explore American Canyon. This last year, I have a seat on the Tourism Business Improvement District with 3 hotels, another business representative, and 2 city council reps. And that's a public meeting. And we oversee the TOT tax dollars. And this last year, we came up with a plan to market American Canyon for the tourist's eye, because we were learning that most tourists that come to American Canyon don't realize where American Canyon is in Napa Valley and what relationship they have to American Canyon. And we also found out that when they came here, they were spending their dollars elsewhere. So we came up with some fun things, and most of that was exploreamericancanyon.com. So this is where I come to some of my fun props. We create really adorable brochures that talk about American Canyon and what the tourists can do here. We create dining guides that have the 14 unique restaurants and the others. We have city maps. And then we are also, on the bottom here, the group that the county looks at to talk about American Canyon. So the Napa Valley just came out with their magazine for this year. I helped them get American Canyon's picture and story to tell in this magazine. So, and it's not just me, we reached out to all of our hotels, all of our restaurants, so we're collaborating together to tell that story of what American Canyon plays. So I mentioned before that we noticed that there's a big disconnection between our businesses and our residents. And as the chamber, it's my main job is to bridge that connection and to tell the story of the business community here. So one thing that we started doing last year was the I Am I Can program. Together we are American Canyon, and every month we highlight a business and they tell their I Am I Can story. And what we're doing this year that I'm about to display behind me is we are launching another video that gives a highlight of what our business community entails. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop talking, and then after this video, Belia Ramos, our county supervisor, will join us on the stage. Thank you. Would you believe me if I told you that this Powerade was made in American Canyon?
Would you believe me if I told you all of the P.F. Chang's horses that you see around the world are made right here in American Canyon?
Would you believe me if I told you that 75 million cases of wine are stored and shipped from American Canyon?
The wine is bottled, corked, wrapped, waxed, stamped, stored, and consolidated, all in American Canyon.
I believe in pursuing my dreams.
I believe that when a company thrives, so does the community.
We believe American Canyon is the champion for the wine industry.
We couldn't do what we do anywhere but American Canyon.
We love serving American Canyon community. It's where we live, work, and play.
When you support our local businesses and choose to purchase American Canyon-made products, you are making a decision to keep tax dollars circulating locally. You are helping grow our local community. You are investing into someone's dream, and you are creating a better future for American Canyon.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Belia Ramos, and I have the pleasure of being your county supervisor, representing all of American Canyon, the southeast portion of the city of Napa, and out into the unincorporated area of Coombsville. I also have the distinct pleasure of being an alumna of the city council here. It gives me a great perspective to have gone through representing all of you at the city level to now go on to the county level. Before I begin on our county's presentation, I just want to thank staff who came out here to participate. We have our CEO, Min Tran, our Sheriff, John Robertson, our Deputy CEO and PIO, Molly Radigan, and to thank the school district and the City of American Canyon for giving us this opportunity to present. We're excited, I'm excited that I've been able to take some of the things I've learned at the City of American Canyon and to bring them to the county. And one of them is, in fact, strategic planning. We actually did this at the City of American Canyon when I was here, and there were some really beautiful drawings that are sitting at City Hall, and I remember those long nights and how much passion I had for where we were going. And it's an exciting time for the City of American Canyon, and likewise an exciting time for the County of Napa. We embarked on our strategic planning timeline back in 2017. In 2017, I was your newly elected supervisor, and we had 3 relatively new supervisors, and we decided we were going to do things a little bit differently. So we started out with some community meetings, and we had community meetings in all portions of the county. We went from Calistoga North all the way down to American Canyon South. We utilized all our department heads to give us their assessment of what we did well, where we could improve. And then we, the board, shared our views, showed our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and our threats that we saw for the county itself. Make no mistake, housing, transportation, water, agriculture, quality of life, things you care about each and every day, were absolutely at the center of that focus of those first initial meetings that we had in 2017. The library also embarked on some small collaborative discussions with community members, but our lives kind of changed in 2017 and into 2018. It was a moment for all of us to reflect that one event in time can take us to a moment of pausing and reflecting and reassessing what's important. And we used this opportunity at the county to do just that, to kind of see what's going on. And what we realized is there were emerging issues, new pressing issues that weren't as prevalent in 2017 as they were in 2018. So we did the Ross Geller and we pivoted. And what we did is we then took some department heads. We took our sheriff, John Robertson, our librarian, Dennis Krymeyer, David Morrison, our planning, building, and environmental services director, Ron Abernathy, our public defender, and Steve Letter, our public works director. And we took these 5 department heads and we sent them, that makes 5, right? Right? It's 5? I'm not great at the counting thing. We took these 5 department heads and we said, we want you to lead this effort on the strategic planning process. And that is what got us to having 10 large scope meetings, to doing surveys. Who filled out our survey? Please, someone raise your hand. Did you fill out our survey? Excellent, excellent. We had our online surveys, our public meetings, we had public comment, we had emails, we had phone calls. We had a tremendous amount of input, and we were impressed by this number. This is how many people we touched in the community, and what we heard time and time again is what matters to you. It's a quality of life issue. We very much value our agricultural and our rural heritage that we have here in Napa County. We want to make sure that it's a safe place to live and to work and a place where your businesses can thrive. We heard you loud and clear, and we are so proud to be able to have presented now our strategic plan with 5 pillars with the help of our department heads that led this regenerated effort of our strategic plan. We came up with these 5 pillars, and I'll give you a moment. Can you see that? Can you see them? Are they big enough? They look kind of small to me, but that simply could be my bad vision. So I'll go ahead and I will tell you a little bit about each one. The first one, collaborative and engaged community. Napa County works with the public and our partners to create regional and long-lasting solutions that benefit our future. The next one, healthy, safe, and welcoming place to live, work, and visit. I'm sure now you realize this is a theme for all of us. It's pressing, whether it's at the city, the school district, or the chamber. And for the county, that means Napa County focuses on the well-being of everyone by promoting equitable, safe, and healthy communities that nurture people of all ages and social conditions. Livable community. No, backwards. Vibrant and sustainable environment. Napa County preserves and promotes a sustainable environment and conserves resources for future generations. Livable economy for all. Napa County supports families through an infrastructure and economy that generates sustainable jobs, provides diverse housing options, eases traffic congestion, and maintains a healthy environment. And effective and open government. Napa County government maintains a quality workforce to manage resources with efficiency, effectiveness, and transparency. Coming soon to your mailboxes in the March issue of the Napa Valley Marketplace, you will see the county's first State of the County. We took it straight out of the playbook from the city of American Canyon, and we're not at all ashamed to say that we did that. You will be getting a little bit more information on what we accomplished in the last year and also where we're going. And front and center to that will be this strategic plan and these 5 pillars. So where do we go from here? The strategic plan, I love Dr. Massetti when you said we're doing 3 years because, 5 years, what do you do in 5 years? We're doing the same thing. 3 years is achievable. You know what you're working towards, and you can really have some short, medium, and longer term goals. And that is exactly what we're going to do here. So we are creating an implementation work plan, and that will be coming out and ready to roll in July of this year. We're going to have regularly reporting, totally stealing out of the city's playbook as well. At the bottom of your city council staff reports, there's this little segment that says, what goal does this action item go to? I was the nag that insisted on that, and I have brought that over to the county and said, we're going to do the very exact same thing. So when you look at the county agendas, you'll be able to see what goal does this work towards? What pillar is this in? How does it further our implementation work plan for our strategic plan here? Some of the things that you're going to see that we've already started on is code compliance. We're here in American Canyon, and we have a different and more varied viewpoint on the activities that happen up valley. And you have the viewpoint of the last few days of traffic, and a whole lot of traffic. You have the viewpoint of having to deal with that in the morning and in the evening. We have the viewpoint of hosting a lot of logistics activities that are related to other agricultural activities. What we don't have here, as Mandy said, is we don't have the wineries. We have those mostly up in the Ag Preserve and in the Ag Watershed up Valley. And we have had concerns and legitimate concerns regarding compliance. And so the Board of Supervisors launched a code compliance program. The final day to come into compliance in a voluntary manner is March 29th of this year. This was a swift move by the board to say that we want to truly assess where we're at, understanding what our impacts are, and being able to move forward. And it goes very much so into having a sustainable environment. So we're very proud of our compliance program that's already kicked off. That's been identified in the strategic plan, but we're already there. Road improvements. You probably know where Devlin Road is, right? Now you're going to know that it's going to be connected, and that is actually with the help of the city. We will be completing our portion. We have gone out to bid, and we're excited to be able to bring the Devlin Road project to its completion, and we'll continue to be working on assessing the whole South County mobility plan. to make sure that your quality of life, my quality of life, all our quality of life is improved by spending less time on our roadways. And the other one, we have undertaken today, our Planning Commission heard public comment on a draft of a watershed protection ordinance that has an update to our conservation regulations and specifically focuses on watershed protection and municipal reservoirs and tree canopies and plant mitigation. So I'm not at all busy. I have lots of extra time, and I'm very, very happy to be able to represent you, to represent the City of American Canyon, the 5th District at the county. I'm proud of the work that we're doing, and I am so proud to be able to say that I am from this city. Thank you very much.
All right, Belia, don't go far. I'd like to bring back all of the presenters for our question and answer period. We do want to stay timely. We said we would end at 8 o'clock, and we do have a handful of questions. So I brought 4 up here to ask aloud with me right now, and then after, we will print all of the questions out and give them to each presenter as makes sense. So each question will go to the designated presenter, and then after this, the State of the City will be available to watch. The city's going to build a page on their website to host that video and then to host the response to the questions as well. So our first question is directed for our city manager, and it's what is going to happen with Watson Ranch and who is responsible for Watson Ranch?
Sure. Thank you. It's a great question. The Watson Ranch project is approved. The City Council approved the Watson Ranch specific plan last November. That was a major milestone for the city. For those of you who aren't familiar with the project, it's the rebuild of the ruins into what's going to be called the Napa Valley Ruins and Gardens. It will include a new elementary school, new roads and parks, 1,253 single-family and multifamily dwelling units. It will be built over time, 5-10 years at least, for the full build-out in multiple phases. So the planning part of that project is approved, and we've moved into the implementation phase. We're working with the applicant and property owners who are involved in that project to really drill into the details of implementation and the roles and responsibilities, what is being paid for by who and by when, and the different triggers and milestones. So we've moved on into the next phase of implementation, and we'll spend the balance of 2019 getting all those details finalized. There'll be a series of agreements that we're working on with the property owners and applicants, and potentially in 2020 you could start to see some construction activity related to it. All of the activity and the development of that project is going to be dependent upon market conditions. So as markets change, and real estate markets and construction markets will be one of the main drivers. But you'll start to see some activity, we think, in 2020.
All right, the next question is for the school district. It says, NVUSD struggles to fill its needs for substitute teachers on a daily basis, yet we are the lowest paying for substitute teachers. Are there any plans to change that?
So that's a really important question because we know that when our primary classroom teachers are not available for whatever reason, having high quality substitute teachers behind them is absolutely critical for there to be continuity and minimal disruption and learning can continue. And this is really, it's a statewide issue right now. So I don't want to go too global, but I do like to put some perspective and context on it. There's an overall and general teacher shortage. And so when there's a just general teacher shortage, then the substitute teacher issue becomes even more challenging. And so we are looking at that. That is a data point that I am well aware of. And we have some trustees that have a high interest in us continuing to compete in the substitute teacher market. And so you'll see that we will be looking at the daily rate. It's something that we're gonna examine and are very open to continue to improve that in order to be able to attract better quality substitute teachers contributors to the area. With that being said, I just want to put out a realistic expectation, because I've been in, I have a past kind of history in my 5-year tenure where I was previously, where we were plagued with the same challenge. And you can get into the business of raising the rate, anticipating that it's going to solve the problem. But given the teacher shortage context that I started out with, despite the pay rate, we still see many of the challenges that come with not having the substitutes to backfill teacher absences. And so we're going to work at it because we know it's absolutely critical to continuity for your students, and we're looking at that data point. So thanks for emphasizing that.
All right, and I'll stay right here. Jason, are there any plans for a second fire station as our city and industrial areas are growing? I can start with that one.
Okay. That's also a really good question, and it points back to the question from before. The American Canyon is growing. It's one of the few places in Napa County that is growing and is intended to grow. The Watson Ranch project that I mentioned will bring new residents, as will our Broadway District Specific Plan, which is essentially a planning document we're working on for the highway. Will also bring new residents, and so we are growing. The fire district is anticipating all of this. They've been engaged in a strategic planning effort, looking at the resources they will need, the additional firefighter and public safety personnel that they will need as our population grows. With that additional employees, there'll be additional real estate that will be needed. The fire district is looking at where some optimum places might be, should those additional, when and if those additional staff members are needed. So, you know, as the development occurs, like I mentioned, over the next 5 to 10 plus years, you'll start to see additional locations where they might be looking at.
All right, next one's for you too, so I'll stay right here. When will the streets in the McKnight area be resurfaced? They are in very bad condition and seem to be ignored.
Gotcha. Full of interesting questions this evening. Pavement conditions. I am still an engineer, former public works director, so road and construction projects are a passion of mine. The city council 2 years ago adopted a pavement management program. We went through an extensive effort to analyze our street conditions and to come up with a framework for addressing road repairs. We did that in anticipation of a new funding source that would become available. Historically, we'd received $300,000 to $400,000 a year from the state in the form of gas tax. Well, now we're receiving additional revenues in the form of a local sales tax, which is known as Measure T. That money started flowing in the first part of this fiscal year. So the city came up with a plan to start addressing some of those streets, but the one thing that we did not want to do is to begin to address streets that may be in poor condition, pave them, and then have the utilities beneath them suddenly burst. We also have issues with our pipelines, our sewer lines, our water lines. Some of them are old and in need of repair. So we not only did an extensive evaluation of our streets, but also the utilities beneath them. And we came up with a plan of fixing it first underneath, the pipelines that is, and then coming back with road repairs. We've been doing some work in the southwest part of the city earlier this year, and those streets that we repaved were actually streets in the prior year that we had replaced the water line in the year before that. Interestingly enough, this particular topic is something that's on the council's mind as well. Next Tuesday, I invite all of you to attend. We're going to be having a special budget workshop as we anticipate our fiscal 19-20 budget season has kicked off. And one of the topics we're going to be exploring is evaluating our pavement management program, the streets that were anticipated for the fiscal year 19-20, and making sure our assumptions and our plans are still valid and what we still want to be doing. We update that document each year as we adopt the particular street pavements that we want to do, and we generally have a project in the summertime into the late fall each year, an annual project that we go and address the streets. We also put a particular focus on addressing streets early on in their life cycle. It's, you know, an ounce of medicine is worth a pound of cure is the analogy, and so we try to address the streets with inexpensive prevention treatments as opposed to having to do a lot of the reconstruction efforts, particularly if the water lines themselves or the pipelines aren't addressed. But you all are certainly invited to our workshop next week, next Tuesday.
All right, and unfortunately, that's all we have time for now. The remainder of the questions will be given to the presenters. I believe all of us are going to wait around a couple minutes after if you want to speak to any one of us, and we will send out all of those links with the answers to the remaining questions because we did have a good handful. If you have any questions still, feel free to put them on your comment card. If you have comments on how this evening went, or if you have suggestions for next year, we'd be happy to hear those as well. And shout out to the Boy Scouts right here that these boys are working on their Citizenship of the Community Merit Badge. So it's great to see a few youth here that are getting involved with civic responsibility. So thank you all for coming. Have a good evening.
Thank you.